Welcome to Konoha Crush, a clandestine effort to exhaustively research and document events occurring in and around the village hidden in the leaves. I'm Ruby.
I'm Gwen. Hi.
Hi, hey, welcome to the podcast. We're here again. It feels like kind of a big week in a few ways, you know?
Yeah, it's the start of the Sasuke retrieval mission, and
the day before we were recording this was the 20th anniversary of the Naruto anime, first airing.
yeah, also my mom's birthday, so that's fun.
Wow! That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a funny one of those days for me.
Uh-huh. Well, hey, I mean, sorry, I feel like I'm at a loss for how to riff on the fact that it was your mom's birthday. I've lost my train of thought a little bit.
That's okay.
Okay, I mean, yeah, how do we want to go about talking about this, right?
Okay, one, very funny that the Force Fem episode went up on the Patreon on the Naruto 20th anniversary.
Yeah, consider that our official celebration of the legacy of Naruto as an animated property. I think that everybody would be very honored that that is the episode that managed to go up then.
Yep, yeah.
And if you listen to it, I hope you also felt I don't know, some significance in the fact that you got to be a part of that moment. I really hope that that all meant something to you.
Yeah. Also, they put out a really funny video.
Funny.
Yeah.
I'm curious what makes what makes funny the first words you go to for this.
They put out a 10-minute long Naruto AMV.
Yeah, they did. Basically. It's it's called the Road of Naruto or whatever, the 20th anniversary special promotional video.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it basically plays the television size version of 6 different Naruto openings back to back, and has has some newly animated versions of scenes that happened during roughly the point of the show that opening is covering.
Yep. Yeah, and it just took us all the way through the whole road of Naruto.
Yeah, it was honestly, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty fun to watch. I think it looks pretty good, generally speaking.
Yeah, it does. I just thought it was funny that they put out a 10-minute long Naruto AMV.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
it's
it
is bad. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say it's fucking perfect, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, if you think I'll talk about with the staff of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that so? It was the chief animation director on there was Tetsuya Nishio, who we've talked about on here before as the character designer of Naruto, the artist who is maybe the most responsible for what Naruto looks like, especially in this era where you've got Mikio Ikimoto drawing Boruto and nobody really is happy about that. And also it was storyboarded by Goro Sesha, who is also known as Masaharu Watanabe, who is the director of ReZero and some other things. He's doing his first work on Naruto in I didn't look up when the last thing he worked on Naruto was, but it's been quite some time. It was midway through Shippuden the last time he was on the franchise, and he came back for this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'll be curious to see if he sticks around more, but it was just that was cool to me to see, because I really like a lot of his Naruto work, and I'm excited to talk about it when we get to it on the podcast. So we're a little ways out from yet.
Yeah.
It was just I think it's just yeah, I mean, again, it feels like the sort of thing where planning it out and storyboarding it seems like it must be kind of an undertaking, because you need to figure out how you're gonna condense the whole thing into 10 minutes and put as many iconic visuals as you can, maintain a good flow. And I think it does that generally really well. It's just a really great momentum to it.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of fascinating to me about it, is that again, so we talked about how it is 6 Naruto OPs, and that split is half and half, pre-time skip Naruto and post-time skip Naruto, which winds up being kind of an interesting decision, because one of those things is just covering less of Naruto than the other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the anime, it's 220 episodes versus 500 episodes, and I don't actually remember the exact split in the manga, but I believe it is at least somewhat similar, right? in my memory, like the part one of Naruto ends around like chapter like 250 or whatever, and it goes to like 700 chapters. So it's like, not quite as big of a difference, but like it is still like you still wind up getting like a lot of the post time stuff being like really crunched down. Right? Like it is very fascinating to like have watched it and have seen like basically every big moment from our 3 episodes this week was in there.
Yeah.
And then, like, when they get to the 4th Ninja World War, it's like, yeah, there's some other guys, but don't worry about that. Then they fight Madara for a while.
Uh-huh.
Which, like, I mean, I understand why you make that choice, right? Like, this stuff is much more iconic than most of what happens in the 4th Ninja World War, but it is still, like, weird to be, like by the time it gets to the first, like, Shippuden OP, it's, like, at episode, like, 130-something. And that is, like, the entire amount of, like, episodes that, the first half of the video covers.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. Like, I woke up this morning, saw that was a thing, and then messaged you like, hey, you saw that, right?
Yeah, and I did see it. I saw it, like, I woke up, like, yesterday morning, and, like, was, like, barely awake, and, like, watched it on my phone, and, like, fell back asleep, and, like, when I woke up, I went, like, watched it on my computer again.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I watched it again while I was, like, sitting in this voice call, like, waiting for you to come to the podcast. Like, I should like, have it in my mind, like, a little, like, more freshly.
Yeah, I was busy yesterday because it was my mom's birthday, and also I had to go to an appointment.
Mm-hmm. And also you had to upload our anniversary celebration to the Patreon.
Yeah, I did. But
yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't want to like just go and like break down the whole thing, just because like I mean, so much of it would be like, oh yeah, here's like some scenes that we haven't talked about on our show yet, right?
Yeah, right. And like
but like I said, it's pretty cool. If you have like history of Naruto and you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I think it's like a fun watch. It's only like 10 minutes long, and I feel like it's a breezy 10 minutes. Like there are 10-minute YouTube videos that are like a fucking challenge to get through, but this one you just sit down. I was like, oh hell yeah, Naruto! I love Naruto. If you're so inclined.
Yeah, it's just some tunes and a bunch of cool shit on screen. So like, what's not to like?
Mm-hmm. It did wind up prompting some discussion from people going, oh, what if they like completely like remade Naruto with like modern animation techniques, and like it was all in like widescreen from the jump, and it was all like fancy looking. Which, like, first of all, I don't know that we want to ask that from like Puro right now. Like so many of the iconic guys just wouldn't show up for it, right? Like
yeah,
like Toshiki Tsuru is not like orbiting out the Naruto production so much. Like he like storyboards an episode of Boruto every once in a while. Atsushi Wakabayashi has like not really like made a large scale television episode since his last Shippuden episode, which was like 167, I think. Like just the state that the anime industry is in general is just like, I don't know. You like that seems like a bad idea to me. Like I feel like as much as I like that video, right, that people were like gesturing towards like, oh, what if they did the whole show like this? It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of times where it looks pretty good, but there's also times where it like brushes up against like a like a really good looking episode of Naruto. I'm like, oh, that's not quite as cool as this thing I remember seeing.
They should do it, however, for you and I's like Naruto rewrite where everyone's like gay and shit.
Yeah. I mean that they should do, but like they didn't reach out to us.
Yeah, that would be different, because we'll just tell them to be nice to the animators, and then they have to.
Yeah, it's that easy to fix it. I don't know, is there anything else we want to talk about?
No, you want to just get into the episodes?
Yeah, okay. Or like we can talk about Gundam, but I don't want to like just say the thing everybody's saying about Gundam, like, and there's like one episode of that show out.
Yeah, I mean, like
I don't know. It's pretty cool.
We could just say it real quick. It's really good, and I'm bouncing up and down about it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm like really happy to see Hiroshi Kobayashi like directing like Gundam. I really like his Sniper. It's like my 3rd favorite Trigger show after the like 2 Gridman series. And like I think he's like I'm really excited to see where that goes. Even if I'm like I have noted the concerns about the production situation of that show, and like hopefully the fact that it's got like a strong core aesthetic will be able to at least like carry it through when it winds up looking a little less flashy every episode. I guess we'll see. Like I'm excited to see more of that.
Girls,
that's pretty cool. Girls.
Okay, let's get into the episodes. Episode 107. The battle begins. Naruto versus Sasuke. Sakura visits Sasuke in the hospital while he sees about the usual stuff. Shikamaru gets promoted, and Asuma takes the team out to celebrate. Ino and Choji have a little argument, and Choji comes out of it feeling pretty hurt. So Shikamaru cheers him up, and Choji returns the favor by telling Shikamaru how cool he thinks he is. Orochimaru sends his boys, the Sound 4, out to fetch Sasuke.
Okay, yeah. So we start out this episode with like Sasuke in the hospital room. He's like, right now he's like having flashbacks to like the arc we just covered in the last couple of episodes with Aoi and everything.
Yeah,
which is like, it like lends this air of like accidental comedy to the whole thing. I think because it is like it has just put Sasuke in this situation where he basically can't fucking leave his house without getting beat up and hospitalized, right? Like, he like he was taken out in the Gaara fight. That wasn't so bad. Then he gets like put into a fucking like trauma coma by Itachi, and then like he fucking like is ready to like leave the hospital again. Like it's like, and then like instantly he just gets fucking like taken out by a guy who does not matter. It just like it like escalates to like already like Sasuke is like frustrated about like how he feels like he's falling behind Naruto and everything, right? Like it escalates that from like the normal like just this like kind of comical thing. Like, can you imagine if there's like another arc where like like what they just kept doing? So there's like another arc where like Sasuke like got beat up, and this was just like Sasuke's role in the show for like 30 additional anime original episodes. It would be insane.
It would be amazing. Like there's like a joke episode, right, where it's just like it's like normal fucking like comedy bit work, where Sasuke just like trips and falls off a cliff at the end.
God,
right? Oh my god!
Like Sasuke just becomes like a fucking comedy loser guy, like immediately before it's like, oh shit, we gotta take him seriously again. So elsewhere, the episode is like, so this episode winds up being like sort of like awkward to read the manga alongside, right? Like I don't think the episode itself suffers that much for it, but when I'm like, okay, I need to like see where all the stuff is in the manga. Like this is where you can like you really feel the effects of them just like scooping out all of the Rock Lee stuff and like putting it all in one block.
Oh, I bet.
Because there's just like so much like scrambling around, being like, okay, like this scene is in this chapter and this scene is in this chapter, and like just I like they add some like extra connective tissue to like make up for the fact that like there is like there would be like other like gaps in there somewhere. Like one of those pieces of extra connective tissue is the scene where like Shikamaru is like getting promoted to Chunin, which I think is like really funny because Tsunade is basically just like, yeah, so I didn't really see what happened in the Chunin exam, so like it kind of seems like we shouldn't promote anybody, but also like I don't know, like the third Hokage seemed like to want this, and like we should probably just promote you anyway as like a I don't know, like a sign of respect. So like congratulations, kid.
Woohoo!
Which is like the perfect way to give Shikamaru a promotion. I'm like so happy that it works out that way in the anime.
Yeah, it's like actually really funny.
Like Tsunade like basically is in this meeting for shit, doesn't really care and doesn't know what was happening. He's like, all right, get out of here, and then he like goes to like eat a meal with the rest of his team, and they just kind of like make fun of him for it.
Naruto can be good sometimes.
Yeah. Shikamaru is like he's really a land of contrasts in these episodes because he just kind of like goes from like fun scene to like, all right, I remembered this guy hates women scenes.
Yeah.
Like sometimes those are the same scene.
Mm-hmm. Can we talk about Ino and Choji's argument?
Yeah, totally.
A little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. What do you have to say about this?
The basics of the argument, right, is that Ino is mad at Choji for like taking the last like piece of food at the dinner that they're all having together, right? And she says some like pretty like mean things about his weight.
Mm-hmm.
But like also do they not know that's on purpose? Do they not know that like Choji's family like does that on purpose? It's like a technique.
Yeah, it's like their like jutsu is like 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 it relies on like like physicality and like having that sort of regimen of like having like some weight that you can throw behind your attacks is like it's weird, right? Like 'cause that is definitely true, but also like so much of Choji's role as like the joke guy who is eating is like so fully divorced from that understanding of his character,
right?
Because like Asuma is also like just kind of exasperated and annoyed about it, right? Like
yeah,
Asuma is like kind of weird in this episode. Like he like because I know eventually like Asuma will be like upgraded to like the cool dad that they all respect when he dies.
Yeah,
but, like right now he's like like he just seems kind of exasperated by his entire team. Like he's okay with Shikamaru, like sort of, but he's on thin ice. Like he's just like a real like hot and cold on these kids. He's like what he's looking after.
Yeah.
Like after like Ino and Choji have their argument, and then like Ino leaves, and then like Shikamaru comes out to be like, oh yeah, girls are like so dumb for wanting to be thin or whatever, which is just like just some more like.
Like, okay, like Shikamaru, like I get it, bro, but going like, nah, real men like fat chicks is not body positivity, dude.
Yeah, right. Like it's just like the most like condescending. Like the guy has wandered into like musel about like beauty standards in like a very like myopic, unhelpful way, and it's like it is like very exhausting. And so like once that part of the scene is over, it just like pivots into like Choji and Shikamaru being like bros, and it's really sweet.
Yeah, right? God.
Like, because like like Choji is like not just feeling bad about like the shit that Ino said. He's also like he's also feeling kind of bummed because like he feels like Asuma doesn't really like believe in his like potential, and Ishikawaru's just like, hey, like who gives a shit what Asuma says? Like you're fucking cool. You're my friend. Like I could have fucking beat you if I was fighting you. Like that's. Like a lot of the fucking way that the tuning exam works is like sort of arbitrary and random, and like if you get a bad matchup that doesn't let you like show off your shit, then like nobody's gonna be impressed with you, and like that's not your fault that that it worked out that way, and like like Choji is just like sweet, like he's like genuinely like very happy for his friend for like being able to be pro to tuning, and like is like willing to hype him, but like yeah, everybody thinks the other boys are cool, but like you know what, I think you're the awesome one, you're my fucking bestie, and it's like it's great,
yeah,
we're just friends.
I'm just sad Ino can't be in on this.
Yeah, Ino doesn't get to have any friends. I mean, she's got Sakura, but that's like weird for her, like.
Yeah, it sucks being like the only lesbian in the Hidden Leaf. Though now that the third's gone, and Tsunade's here, it's gonna get a lot less homophobic around here.
God.
At least we have that to look forward to.
Mio Sasuke just having a fucking bad time in the hospital, right? Like he's moved on from remembering like the anime original shit. Now he's like thinking about the stuff that is actually like personally significant to him with his brother, and he's just getting like pissed off whenever he hears somebody like coming near his room. Like he hears footsteps coming off, and he's just like getting mad. So it's a rough time for the boy.
Yeah.
Do you have something else you want to say about this part of the episode?
Not really.
Okay. Well, we can move on.
Okay. Rock Lee tells Tsunade he's decided to have the surgery, and Sakura shows up with Naruto. Sasuke can't be normal about Naruto being here, but waits for Sakura to meticulously peel and slice an apple, for him to slap it out of her hands and challenge Naruto to a fight on the roof. They tussle until Naruto gets too eager to show off the Rasengan. Sasuke gets a Chidori ready, and Sakura rushes in to stop them, so they don't both die.
Yeah, so like I have to like take back some of the stuff I said about the Rock Lee episode. It's not the way it says like actually like diminishes my enjoyment of them, but I just sort of thought that like they were like bunching that stuff up together to like make it seem like Rock Lee had more time to recover from the surgery before like all of this other shit happens. It turns out they're not, right? Nope. Like Rock Lee's not like Rock Lee's still here to talk to Tsunade. This is not like completely animated original scene, as far as I can tell. Like maybe this comes up like way later in the comic, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea.
I'm like pretty sure it's anime original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's basically just her going, "All right, you sure?" one last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like it's like kind of nice in the sense like okay, we get the scene of like Tsunade being like, hey, like you can have like a different life, like you don't have to like put yourself on the line, and like Rock Lee's like, no, yeah, I'm gonna do this because he's at his whole thing, and I'm not gonna like belabor that like more fully because we had an whole episode talking about that. But like I think it's like a pretty nice scene for like Rock Lee, even though I'm like kind of annoyed by like the way it sort of pushes Tsunade back into the like, oh wow, boys can be impressive and inspire me position.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's also kind of like I'm also kind of annoyed when she's like she sees Rock Lee's like resolve and she's like, wow, it's all because of you that there's all these awesome kids in the village, which again is like so much less interesting her than her like moping around the village and being like, I can't fucking believe that Hiruzen made this town so shitty that there's not even any bars open at noon.
Yeah. Or even take it a step further where she's like, this town is so shitty, there's no fucking bars open at noon, and like I still like her as like the one, like let her be like the one that like cares about children, right? In like in a way that in a way that's like, it fucking sucks that these are child soldiers a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, no, it is definitely kind of frustrating, like how much like this kind of like feels like it's like walking back a lot of the fun beats she had like earlier.
Yeah, right. Because like throughout Lee's whole thing, like she was always just like, you know, like, you really don't have to do this. Like you can just not be a shinobi. Like it's fine, right? And like I wish there was an extent to which that sentiment like carried through to like all of the children in the village.
Yeah.
And was maybe even like of the position is just like, it fucking sucks that we're doing this. Like being the president doesn't actually give me like any power to do anything about it. Like it's mostly just fucking desk work and like being like a tough cool figurehead, right? For like a society.
Yeah, I mean I will not like surprise anybody listening to the show by saying like, yeah, I'm like kind of frustrated how much Tsunade doesn't get to like feel things about like the state of the world and like have opinions that are like motivated by her position in it.
Yeah, right. Because like I just like imagined the argument in my head that's like, well, if Tsunade like cared about like there being child soldiers and stuff, she's the fucking Hokage. She could just fix it. But like, no, she couldn't.
Yeah, right.
Like if you think the fucking president gets to do shit, it's just not how it works.
Yeah, you need to be a little more sweeping in the shit you're trying to do than like becoming president. Yeah, I mean that's what I would say about that scene. Moving on to Sasuke in the hospital some more. Like Sakura is there. She's peeling some apples for him. This winds up being like
Sasuke's a bitch for this one.
Right. Okay. That there's that. But like, what I wanted to say is like this is one of like the weirdest changes from the anime to the manga. For me. Because the anime makes it so that Naruto is in the room the whole time.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the manga, he like bursts in while like Sasuke just sort of like stewing in things, and Sakura's peeling apples, and then like that like
that is the thing that causes him to like.
I mean, like he still has like swat the apples out of her hand before then.
Okay.
But like he's still being kind of an asshole.
Right.
But like the specific thing that's weird to me is that like because Naruto is in the scene the whole time but not really engaging in it, what happens is that like Sakura like comedy knocks him out on the he's just like lying on the floor twitching for like a couple of minutes while Sasuke is just sitting there and be like, oh, Naruto is so much stronger than me, how could this happen? I can't let this happen, I have to defeat him.
I didn't pick up on that at all. Oh my god. You're right though, like, oh my god.
It's just very silly. In regards to the apple plug, there's like one thing I want to touch on, which is like this 2-panel sequence from the manga, where I don't know, there's just something like deeply comedic to me. Or like Sakura in the first panel, is just like sitting there, she's like smiling, she's like has this internal monologue about how proud of herself she is, and she's like for like peeling apples good, and it just cuts over to Sasuke like thinking nothing, saying nothing, like completely fucking despondent. It's beautiful to me.
Oh man, she's so good at peeling apples.
Oh my god, she peeled it right. Now she has to cut it into bite-sized pieces. She can do it. She's finally found her strength.
Also, I love how Sasuke just fucking watches her do this whole thing. And at no point is he just like, I don't really want apples right now.
Maybe he's just like hoping that she'll eat the apples. It's like, maybe this is for herself. I don't want apples right now. I'm just like, I'm not gonna ask about it. I'm just gonna let this happen.
Sasuke's a fucking punk.
So, you know, like the like just being like very mean to Sakura for like, you know, kind of like arbitrary feeling reasons aside, I do mostly like the ways that he's like a shitty little punk in these episodes.
Yeah, totally, absolutely.
But like the thing I really like is that like when he is like challenging Naruto here, is because he's got all this shit in his head he's like pissed off about, and Naruto's just like, oh hell yeah, I get to fight Sasuke. I didn't get to do it during the tuning exams. This is awesome.
Oh honey.
Right.
Sasuke wants to murder you right now.
Yeah, right. And like it's really like fascinating, like see that as they like go up to the roof to like have their like pre-fight talk. There's this like really great scene where Naruto is like trying to just like, he's trying to do like his like regular like rival shit. He's like, oh yeah, I've wanted to fight you for so long. I'm going to show you that like I'm just as good as you are. It's going to be great. And like Sasuke is just like plunging deeper and deeper into like just saying the kind of shit that like the people who like actually don't like Naruto say, right? Like he like just genuinely trying to like fucking provoke him and like get him mad.
Mm-hmm.
And like Naruto doesn't fucking know what's going on because he's like he's like a kid and he doesn't fucking get this shit. But like eventually like fucking fires back some like genuinely like fucking like mean spirited shit, and like I don't know, like I really like it as this like
As like an escalation of their relationship in a way that like shows where Sasuke's at, really, right? Like,
yeah, right, because like it really feels like Naruto doesn't get what this is about, like in this scene and like in the later scenes with Naruto that like follow from it. And like yeah, like he gets provoked here. He gets like angry. He's like after enough of like Sasuke like pressing his like actual buttons and be like, oh yeah, you're like a you're like a failure. I don't respect you as like my equal. I don't like consider you like even worth like treating as like on my level. Like eventually he's just like like Naruto like snaps a little bit, but like Sasuke wants some fucking shit to happen that Naruto doesn't know about, and I think that's like a really like fun disconnect.
Yeah, totally.
The boys start fighting. How do you feel about this fight?
I think the fight does a lot of fun things with the like environment.
Yeah, totally, right. Like,
right.
I like how. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, just because like they go up on the roof, right, and it's just like the roof of a hospital, so they have like a bunch of like sheets like hanging up to dry. And like the fight choreography just like plays around with those sheets a lot, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, like it really leans into the fact like this isn't like really like a place that they're supposed to be fighting, and like some of that is like, oh yeah, they're using it to like do like tricks or whatever. They're like disappearing like like Naruto like disappears and like stumbles back into the sheets, and like it goes like and like to like set up like an ambush for Sasuke, and like it also leans into the fact like as the fight escalates, they're just like breaking a lot of shit for no reason, basically, right?
Yeah, they're just ruining a hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like this doesn't happen this episode, but they're about to destroy 2 water towers.
Yeah, at the end of this episode, that hospital no longer has running water.
God, I think it's a pretty cool fight. I think there's like some kind of like there's some kind of like awkward moments. Like there's like one bit in the fight where it like sort of looks like Naruto just like reverses his momentum midair, by doing nothing. But like there's also like some fun. Just like I like a lot of times where like there's some like pretty fun concepts like Sasuke like rotating on his hands, he like prepares to do a kick. There's like some like surprisingly involved movement. Like some of the shots was like all the sheets fluttering. Like there's like some like pretty like like generally there's like some like pretty good like feedback in terms of like the environment that they're in terms of like but both the sheets being knocked over, but there's also like a bit where like Sasuke like lands on the fence on top of the roof of the hospital, and you can kind of see it like like vibrating from like the way it was landing. There's just like a lot of like fun small touches that make this like stand out.
Yeah, I mean, like I talked about this earlier, how just like the way that they like animate and like characterize Sasuke's like hand-to-hand fighting is like he's just kind of a bendy weirdo, and I think this fight plays with that a lot, and I think it's a lot of fun, right?
The other thing I want to talk about here is that like so this episode is like storyboarded by Toshiya Niotome, who I've talked about as like, I mean, like he is the guy who like storyboarded a fifth of this first run of Naruto. And like doesn't always like direct his own episodes just because like direct his own storyboards just because like, I mean, that would be like a ridiculous amount of work to do on top of all of that. But there are like some, but I feel like a lot of times like he does like specifically direct his boards, like this episode is one of those times. There's some like interesting attempts to like replicate camera effects with like just some like often like kind of clumsy usage of digital tools. There's like a scene back in the hospital room where like there's like this kind of like warped lens effect, right? Like a fisheye lens going on where like it doesn't look like super great, but like he's clearly trying. And then there's like a bit in this fight on the rooftop where like to simulate the like a camera rotation, the background is like stretched vertically, and they just like squash it back down to the normal size, which is like a really weird effect that's like out to me, but I was like fascinated by.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love seeing shit like that, and just like I love dumb little tricks in like art and animation. It's like so good.
Mhm.
And just like I don't know, you're like knowledge based to be able to like point out the guy who's responsible for it. Like really makes it a lot of fun for me. I appreciate like learning these things from you.
Okay, ass.
Yeah, well, fucking yeah.
You know, the fight keeps escalating. Like Sasuke like torches every sheet on the rooftop with a fireball, and they like decide to bust out their big attacks. And that's where the episode ends. Is like Sakura's freaking out about that.
Yep.
Do you have anything else you want to say about this episode?
No, but we should talk about the ending.
We should talk about the ending. Yeah, we forgot to do that last week, but we have a new one.
What do you think about it?
It's like all right. The song's okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, I forget what number of ending this is. Song's like Mountain Nagogo by Captain Stridham, I think.
Mhm.
So this is like, this is like Toshiki Tsuru and like Hirofumi Suzuki ending, but like it's not one of the ones that is like, oh yeah, like I mean there was the opening sequence that they were handling like in parallel to this, like clearly gets a lot more attention because that has like motion in it.
Yeah.
And this is like a lot of like illustrations with like a kind, there's like an effect playing over them.
It's got colors.
It's got colors. I do like a lot of these illustrations. And like Tetsuya Takeuchi is like credited as a key animator on this. Which like leads me to like he did a lot of these. I think they're like very like distinctive and like cool looking. Like like it's like I don't mind like an illustration focused ED if like the illustrations are like good. And I think the illustrations are pretty good.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to look at them without the
Yeah,
weird pulsing color effect.
The only other thing I have to say about this one is that like I am just imagining the experience of like, you know, you're like watching Naruto on TV, and like you don't really know what happens in like the manga or whatever. Like it's just a thing you watch when you're a kid or whatever, and you like see the new. I guess like you know you see the new ED, and it's like, oh shit, Haku was drawn like really big in this one. Is Haku coming back? And like he's absolutely not, but like. Haku gets drawn like really big in like one of the big like scrolling illustrations. It's like, oh my god, that's Haku.
Yeah. Haku comes back in our version.
Yeah. That's what I'd say about that ending. So I can like move on to the next episode if you're good too.
Haku and Ino become friends.
That's beautiful. I feel like you have to do a lot of like moving pieces around to make that happen, but like, you know, we can get there.
Ino defects from the Hidden Leaf.
Okay, that's great for her.
Nobody notices or cares.
Yeah, no, Awesome was like, yeah, okay, this is my team. These are the guys who are always here.
Yeah, there's Shikamaru and Choji, and didn't one of them have a pussy? Not important.
God. Jesus.
Alright, you ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on, yeah.
Okay. Episode 108, Bitter Rivals and Broken Bonds. The Sound 4 make it just outside the leaf, and Sako and Hey, Ruby.
Yeah?
Suck on these nuts.
Yay!
I'm sorry, I couldn't wait. The Sound 4 make it just outside the leaf, and Sakon mentions how easy it would be to just stroll in and kill everyone, but they aren't here for that. Kakashi shows up to break up the Naruto and Sasuke fight, and redirects their attacks into a pair of rooftop water tanks. Sasuke is pleased with himself since he made a bigger hole, only to find the whole back of Naruto's tank had been blown out when he leaves. Kakashi talks to Jiraiya. They give each other shit about teaching the boys their big attacks, and Kakashi points out the kids' relationship resembles that of Jiraiya and Orochimaru. The Sound 4 spy on Sasuke, seething in a tree. Hey, Ruby.
Yeah?
Suck on these nuts.
Oh my god, I've never heard that before.
I'm leaving both of them in.
Okay. That's great.
Alright, so we met the Sound 4.
Yeah, they're all like standing outside the Leaf Village. They're like, you know, performing their like personality traits to each other. You know, like Kidomaru's like here, and he's like, yeah, he's like confident that he can like do the mission well as long as they're like, you know, doing it right. Sako and Tayuya are like in a sickos competition with each other, basically.
Yeah, Tayuya is like being a lesbian, and that's cool.
I'm like Jirobo's, I guess, like, I don't know, he's like kind of like reticent and serious about being, and like pragmatic about like, oh, we don't want to get into fights all the time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically who these guys are to us right now. And like maybe that's all they'll ever be. I don't know. I don't like have a ton, like a huge impression of like most of the Sound 4 guys, honestly. But we'll see. You know, I didn't have a huge impression of Dosu either. We talked about Dosu so much on this podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, one of them's got like arms. Another one's got like another guy.
Mm-hmm. One of them's a girl.
Yeah, one of Orochimaru's boys is a girl.
And one of them is like a big guy. So which is how we've like telegraphed that this is the one arc in which Choji is ever going to have a fight. And you know, like Naruto and Sasuke are still like hurtling towards each other, on the rooftop. When Kakashi steps in, I think I want to briefly touch on is that like in the manga, we can see that the demands of a weekly schedule mean that sometimes you don't get the swirlies in the Rasengan, and it's just a circle, which is beautiful to me.
Yeah, I mean, like a circle is more powerful.
You always get the swirlies in the anime because, like, presumably that's just some shit they can like put into a scene, right? Like they're fucking like compositing team or whatever is like they just have the Rasengan like thing too important to like whatever they're like pulling together.
Yeah, you're not gonna remake it every single fucking time. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Kashi like throws them off into the water tower so they don't like kill each other, and like, you know, also so we you know, we have the like collision of their big attacks as like a thing to like build anticipation for.
Mm-hmm.
Sasuke has like fortunately not like injured his arm by like punching through the wall of like a metal water tower. Like it seems like it'd be very easy for that shit to like cut your arm up, but like he's lucky in this case, which, you know, I'm glad for, I suppose. And yeah, he has this moment of like, oh yeah, like I made like a way bigger hole in the water tower than Naruto did. And meanwhile, Kakashi's just standing here, it's like, okay, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I really like how much Kakashi's just kind of like out of the loop here. He's like, okay, I guess Sasuke probably fucking met Itachi, and like I don't know why Naruto knows the Rasengan. This is all fucked. I was out for like a few weeks, and
yeah. I do want to point out that I just realized that in both anime original things, both the like movie and the anime original little like mini arc of the show, it was very specifically set up so none of Naruto's team saw him do the Rasengans that he did.
Yeah, because like when Naruto like busts out in the previous episode, Sasuke's like, oh, what's that attack? Because he was like falling off a cliff or like underwater.
Yeah,
and like.
It's just something like funny that occurred to me just now. I mean, not just now, but like when I was watching this, right?
Like there are like all of these little gestures like towards trying to like make it all line up, but also like it still basically feels like Kakashi woke up like, you know, like maybe yesterday and hasn't had a chance to like talk to anybody about it, right? Like if Kakashi was like going on missions occasionally with Team 7, and one of them was like bullshit cleaning up around a farm and stuff, like you would hope at least that he like talked about some of the shit by now. But like,
yeah, no. Like, I do not believe Naruto couldn't just like immediately get out of the village and go, hey everybody, look at this.
Right. Like, there's no way that Naruto would have shown Sasuke the Rasengan if he wasn't in like a hospital room.
Yeah,
because there's nothing you can hit with it. You can hit with Rasengan in a hospital room.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Kakashi too, right? Like, Naruto wants to impress his dads.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, his dads are like not happy about this at all.
Yeah, I love Kakashi's like, hey there, champ. That Chidori was a little bit strong for a comrade, huh?
Chidori's like a little bit hairy, man. I don't know. It's like, okay, fucking whatever. He just like backflips off the roof.
Yeah.
Just in time to get pissed off. It's like how much Naruto like fucked up the water tank. Something I'm like kind of wondering about is like, does Naruto even know how lethal the Rasengan is?
Absolutely not.
Right? Because like when Jiraiya shows it off to him,
he does like a baby easy mode to show off against the like street tough, right?
Yeah, and like the only person like, I mean, like, okay, so like I guess like if we count like Aoi or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the movie guy also. I say he's had 3 people with Rasengan, but like one of those guys had like special super armor, and Aoi twirled off screen. How we fucking like Team Rocket blasted off, basically.
Yeah, where I like caught him bridal style.
And like Kabuto was just fine. I mean, it wasn't fine, but he was like, you know,
Yeah,
he
but
has this like super regeneration shit going on.
yeah, Kabuto's a freak. So
So like Naruto has had the opportunity to like really learn that the Rasengan could like kill someone. Like I genuinely don't believe that he like thought about it on that level, right? Until like this point where somebody is like yelling at him for like trying to use it on Sasuke, and he's like, oh shit.
yeah.
Which like I guess I kind of get from like Jiraiya's perspective, right? Like when you're teaching a kid like a super attack, you don't want him to think like, especially a kid like Naruto, you don't want him to think about how like it might kill somebody before he uses it. You just want him to like have it on hand in case like an Akatsuki guy comes at him.
Mm-hmm. So like Jiraiya's there suddenly.
Yeah, yeah. I guess Jiraiya's like also watching this or something.
And Kakashi goes to talk to him, and Kakashi, the biggest hypocrite in the world,
Yeah,
it's just like, what the fuck, bro? You taught that jutsu to Naruto? That's like so dangerous.
it's just like, fuck off, man. Like, well, I'm not hearing it from you.
Yeah, and then they have their little like, are the kids okay talk?
Right, they're like talking about how like, you know, like Kakashi's like running down like, yeah, here's what's going on with like Naruto and Sasuke, because like, you know, I mean, Jiraiya knows Naruto, but like I don't think he's really interacted with Sasuke at all.
For like 2 minutes before he got like fucking trauma visioned.
Yeah.
And even then the extent of that interaction was like, yeah, let's see what this kid does.
Yeah, okay, maybe this kid is like strong enough, I don't know. And he was like, oh shit, I've made a serious misjudgment, I'm gonna put him in a wall.
For safety.
And I guess so they're just like talking about how like, oh yeah, these kids kind of fucked up, they went too far, they've got this whole like complicated emotional thing going on, and like Naruto is just like sitting there the entire time, like listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which is like, man, it's gotta suck for the kid. Like he is just like standing there listening to like two of his dads talk about him like he's not there, and then like at the end, Jiraiya's like, yeah, I guess I'll go scold him later.
Which, getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. No, he fucking won't.
No. Yeah, the other thing that comes up here is that like when Jiraiya is like trying to understand what's going on with Naruto and Sasuke, Kakashi says like, yeah, like they have a relationship like you and Jiraiya had when you were younger.
You and Orochimaru. He's talking to Jiraiya.
Yeah. Sorry, you and Orochimaru had. Yeah, no, I meant that. I just didn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm like very like, I don't know, like I'm like very fascinated by. I feel like that is a dynamic that is like super underdeveloped in a lot of ways. Like I don't think Jiraiya and Orochimaru are like on screen again. Like
no, but like it isn't like important to note that like Naruto is just about bros all the way down. Every character is either like a Naruto or a Sasuke.
No, yeah, like I mean, like I'm not saying like I'm surprised at like this because like obviously like yeah they are like the Naruto and Jiraiya, like not Naruto, Jiraiya and Orochimaru and Tsunade were like yeah that was like the trio of characters before that, right? But like I mostly just mean like I feel like there's like the like it's not that I don't believe this is right. I just feel like there's like a lot that's left on the table there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not explored.
Yeah, I feel like the level of like personal like messiness and like I don't know like complicated feelings you would get from like that Naruto and Sasuke have, like it just doesn't really come up in like the times that we see like Jiraiya and Orochimaru like interact in the like the previous arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're ever going to be like on screen again at the same time.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. You know, but also I guess that like lends to, if I'm giving Naruto the most credit I can,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that is like an indication of like an unhealthy relationship,
Mm-hmm.
where these characters who had like a very like similar thing allegedly in their like childhoods are now just like dislike each other to the point of not wanting anything to do with the other one.
Yeah, right. And like honestly, like my biggest thing is not like, oh, I don't believe this happened or whatever, right? It's like I just kind of wish there was like more of it. Like I wish it existed to a greater extent. Like if I was like if I was like to like if I was to like imagine a Naruto spinoff, you could like totally do like a thing about like young Jiraiya and like young Orochimaru and like fucking their bad dad like driving a wedge between them by like just fucking everything up with Orochimaru.
Yeah.
While also like fucking up Pencil, it would be like I would be like engaged by it, like mad about like what Naruto is about like every fucking week.
Yeah, right. Because it can be all like good, like happy, like yeah, Orochimaru is like kind of a sicko sometimes, but like we're shinobi, like maybe we can use that.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is like really putting this like kid up on a pedestal and like really really like doing so in a way that puts Jiraiya down, and then Orochimaru
Mm-hmm.
comes out as gay and like the whole thing flips,
God,
and it's just bad for everybody.
it just all goes downhill, right? And like because like Naruto is the thing that is like so much about like like so much like gestures at like, oh yeah, like everybody just looks like a lot of people that have fucking died. You could like have a whole fucking cast of characters that wouldn't need to have a lot of bearing on Naruto because you could just like fucking kill them all off, and like
Yeah,
you could like play in that dramatic space of like, oh, like I don't know these people, so like none of them are fucking getting out of this whole like situation, right? It'd be fucking cool, I think.
yeah, it would be really fucking cool.
Yeah, Kakashi is like, yeah, I mean, like I got like a mission to go on, but I should like let's go on like after this, but I should like probably go and talk to Sasuke. Like on the way out, like it's like, hey, don't worry, Sakura, I'm gonna fix this, and then it just like walks out, and like Sakura is like, Sakura has had cause stood out to Kakashi for a while now.
Uh-huh.
Not really satisfied by this.
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
I wish Sakura's like position in this arc as like somebody who saw like just how all of this went down was like more. It was like something they did more with.
Mm-hmm.
Like either like now or going forward. They're like I don't know like this is like getting ahead of ourselves like a little bit maybe, but like I just feel like so much of my frustration with Sakura this time through is just about like how many different like jumping off points there are to like do something with this character that just aren't taken.
Right, she
Like even beyond the extent to which like she has like things that she's like good at, they just don't utilize in fights. There's just like so many like there are so many things that, like she could like feel ways about and like be motivated to like act on if she was allowed to be like an actor in the story that like had any impact on anything.
yeah, right. Like the writing just doesn't respect her at all, and it's like it's really disappointing. Like
Mm-hmm.
not that I was expecting anything different. Like I knew what was up, but like it's still disappointing seeing it and being like, "Yep." But
Yeah, like when it goes from being the thing you like watch every week and be like, yeah, I mean, like okay, like I know they're not going to treat Sakura well this episode either, to like the thing that you like have to like talk into like a microphone about. It's like, oh, I like have to think about like the specific ways they're fucking up here, and like the fact that it was the potential for like something different. Like every time like I see it is just like kind of, it's just kind of miserable.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, are you good to move on to the next half of the episode?
Yeah, let's move on. Kakashi ties Sasuke to the tree for a lecture. Sasuke says some cringe shit about killing Kakashi's loved one, so he knows how he feels. But Kakashi says they've all been killed already. Kakashi tells him it's okay because they have new friends, and that he needs to be more responsible with the Chidori. Naruto and Sakura worry about Sasuke and meet up to talk, while the Sound Four introduce themselves to Sasuke and test him to see how he can handle himself.
Right. So like at the top of this part of the episode, right, like Naruto's like, he like heard his dad's like fucking say their whole thing, and now he's just like walking away from the hospital sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Like runs across Jiraiya, who like kind of looks at him, and like neither of them say anything to each other. And like this like another moment where I was thinking like, oh, I wish there was like more of the like Orochimaru and Jiraiya stuff, because I feel like you could like really like dig into this as a moment where like Jiraiya realizes he doesn't fucking know what to say because he was in like a very similar position and just like nothing fucking good came of it, right? And like he doesn't want to be the kid going like the guy going up to like this kid that like he's kind of responsible for and being like, yeah, I don't fucking know, I like fucked this up really bad once too.
Mm-hmm. Right, like even if it was just that, even if it was just like, because like so much of like what we like about Jiraiya and like his like earlier characterization was just like him being the guy that'll just like say shit how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like so him in this situation like not saying shit, like I think there are like it is like characterful and there's like ways to read that, like that tie into like the thing with him and like Orochimaru, right? But like it just makes me be like, oh man, I just kind of wish that story was out there, right? Like I kind of wish that like
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had like a view of that was like more like personally invested in that relationship rather than the way that like Orochimaru often gets like cast in opposition to like the third Hokage or whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kakashi goes to talk to Sasuke. Fucking like ties him to the tree with some like shuriken wire tricks. And it's like, okay, kid, listen, you got to cut this shit out. I really like to see this another like, oh, Sasuke is just like he's just like a fucking shitty kid who doesn't know anything. Like so much in this scene, right? Like,
Yeah.
I love how, like it is so funny that like Kakashi's like, hey, like I know what you're feeling. Like I get it, but like you can't just like throw everything you care about away in pursuit of revenge. You need to like have like other shit you care about. You need to like maintain like some kind of like balance in your life. And this is just gonna like leave you like burnt out and like sad. And Kakashi's like, oh yeah, well, what if I killed the person you loved the most? Which is just like a ridiculous thing to say when you were like 12 and like tied to a tree by like a guy you couldn't fucking defeat, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, Kakashi's just like, you know I lived through wars, right?
right? Like, yeah, like it is like fascinating, right? Because like, I mean, like, because Sasuke's trauma is like unique, largely in the sense that like, I mean, like obviously like the scale of like the like and like immediacy of like everybody he like knew dying is like bigger,
Yeah.
but like Sasuke is not the only person who has his whole family die, right? Like, obviously like Kakashi's like teammates are both dead, but also like so are his parents, right? Like,
yeah,
and like it's like really like I think it's like really illuminating to Sasuke in his position of yeah, he had like a specifically bad thing happen to him, but it is not like a thing that nobody else can understand, and he has just like been sitting in his head just sort of assuming that nobody else could, right? Like the whole Uchiha clan like dying is like a big deal because the Uchiha are like a big deal, right? And so like it has that gravity in his mind, right? That he's just not like applying necessarily to other people who like just had their like family die under more normal circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kakashi's like he basically just like laughs it off. He's like fucking like, yeah, sure, you fucking try, I guess, right? Like what are you gonna do? Are you gonna try to kill like Guy? Like I mean like we're like friends, but it's not like that with us. I'm like, first of all, good luck.
You can't kill Guy.
Like he is like genuinely like doing his best in this scene. He's like, he is. It doesn't wind up being like the thing that gets him all the way there, because like immediately after this he has to like go on a mission, right? And like leave Sasuke open to be like taunted by 4 shitheads.
Yeah.
But like he is trying, and like I do like kind of have to hand that to him. I also think it's like interesting that like like Sasuke is like like broadly like sort of important to the Leaf, right? But he is not like more important than like the ability for like Kakashi to like go and do his job, like go and do like missions like during this like delicate time, right? Like they aren't going to like commit anything extra to like keeping Sasuke around, even if like it's probably fucking known that like he's in like a bad spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Sasuke is like one of the most important guys in Naruto because he's Naruto's bro, and like that's what the story is about. But he doesn't like the world doesn't really like warrant him that consideration. And it's like, I mean, like the fact that he's not in a position where he can like receive that kind of like specific care from him is like part of why this all goes so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Because like the Sound 4 are like watching this conversation happen, like, oh shit, we like probably shouldn't, like Kidomaru's like, yeah, we probably shouldn't fight Kakashi, and like Sakura and Tayuya are both like, oh, we could like totally take Kakashi, it would be awesome. But like it ultimately doesn't matter because like he just has to fucking like go like immediately after this, right? Like he's just gonna be like away for like a couple days or whatever.
Yeah.
Elsewhere in the village, like Sakura and Naruto are both kind of worrying about Sasuke independently from each other. And this is another scene that winds up being like really telling to me, right? Because like when Naruto is having his like flashbacks about his like relationship with Sasuke, there's all scenes that we've like seen in the show that are like specifically like interactions between the two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when Sakura is doing it, it's like, yeah, he hears like some like new like drawings of like
the whole team having a picnic together.
Yeah, or like first of all, like there are no like Sakura scenes to like specifically like draw from. That are, like, or I mean there are some, but like there's not very many, right? And like they don't really like choose to go to that well right here, because like I guess like really like most of Sakura's scenes are like just kind of worrying about Sasuke, right? And that's, I don't know, that's like really what they're trying to evoke here.
Yeah.
Like the show's kind of like illustrating like why this like relationship is so underdeveloped in real time. Is like, oh yeah, we don't have any like there's no like classic like cute Sasuke and Sakura moments of them like having a good time. Wherever it's like it is mostly like Sakura being scared and worried, and like Sasuke being mean to her. And that's not what the scene is for. So we just have to have some new shit. But like Sakura is getting more and more convinced that like maybe Kakashi was like kind of full of shit about saying the curse markers are under control. She's like, okay, I need to go talk to Naruto about this. Like,
yeah, and she does.
Yeah, they go off to like meet up.
Because they're right, Kakashi was full of shit.
Yeah. There's like a little bit of like extra weird framing of the anime adds to this, where she like says it's a date to Naruto, and like I don't really know why specifically that's like an angle they add on top of this, rather than sure being like, hey, I'm gonna like, can we like talk about our friend?
Yeah, it is weird.
Meanwhile, Kabuto and Orochimaru are like talking back at their base, and Kabuto's like, hey, did you really need to send like all four of the Sound Four? Like, I I don't think you need that many to beat Sasuke. And Orochimaru's basically like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, it seemed fun. They all kind of wanted to go, so like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, and if all of them are there,
Paul, but he's gonna like feel even worse about how weak he is.
yeah,
Yeah, like we cut back to the Sound Forge like going up to like Sasuke and being like, okay, we're gonna fight you now because we think it's fun, basically.
yep,
You know, they've got like they've got like a broader mission, but like they don't need to be doing this. It's just kind of like
yeah. We want to see what this kid's got.
uh
Yeah.
like damn, Orochimaru thinks this guy's cool. Okay, let's fucking let's go fucking haze him.
Yeah, I mean they play softball at first. They let him get some hits in.
Mm-hmm.
But you know that's basically where the episode ends. Is like,
As he realizes like, oh, they're playing softball, and he just like taught like he like thinks he's got them all, and then just like, oh shit, they all like substitute out. It's just fucking logs over there.
yeah,
They're fucking like gloating off and like standing somewhere else.
yeah. Is that all you had to talk about? Are you ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Episode 109, An Invitation from the Sound. The fight continues, and the Sound Force start actually trying. Naruto takes Sakura out for ramen, and they talk about Sasuke's connection to Orochimaru, and Naruto shares what he knows about the guy. The Sound Four beat Sasuke and tell him that they're here to recruit him. Sasuke's curse mark acts up, so Sakon activates his own, and tells him not using the curse mark right will fuck him up bad. Tayuya reminds him about revenge before they all take off, leaving Sasuke to think about some things.
You know, like Sasuke is like at least for a moment kind of like undeterred by the fact that you know, like he didn't actually just get them when he thought he did. He like goes after Sakon specifically.
Mm-hmm. These nuts.
And, you know, like yeah, Sakon these nuts. And then like, you know, he's like sort of like getting some ground doing his like, again, being like a bendy weirdo fighting style.
Mm-hmm.
Until like Sakon's like, okay, enough fucking, I'm gonna use my power. I think it's like kind of when Sakon does this thing where he's like saying like musical notes and shit and like doing like sound blasts by doing so. I totally forgot he did this. I totally forgot this was like a thing he did, right? Like when Kidomaru is like shooting spider webs out of his mouth in the same scene, it's like, oh yeah, obviously he's got like a guy with spider powers. He's got like the extra arms, but like Sakon having like an extra head in his back is like, I don't know where this like theming comes in with the like with this attack.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, like, he's not even doing the notes.
No, he's not. He's just like yelling. He's like yelling like, your bones sound pretty awesome. Or is he saying that, or is he saying your bones sound pretty shitty? It's like one of those things. I think it's his bones sound shitty. But like regardless, he's doing his sicko bits.
Yeah.
You know, like Tayuya unfortunately doesn't get to like really participate in spite of her like always being like kind of well, like in the previous scenes, like kind of being like at odds with him and like trying to like one up him or whatever. Like I think she's like the only one who like doesn't really do like an attack in this scene. Am I remembering that correctly? Right? Because
yeah, because the big guy, his name escapes me right now because I didn't write it.
Jirobo, like
yeah.
shoulder checks him.
Yeah, he like shoulder checks him.
And like Tayuya is just kind of like standing around and doesn't do shit.
It would be so funny if this fight was Sakon and Spider Guy. I'm not gonna remember their names for a minute. It's okay.
Kidomaru?
Yeah. If it was just those two fighting Sasuke and fucking
Jirobo?
Jirobo. Podcast.
It's okay.
Yeah, if Jirobo was just like holding back to Yuya like the whole time, just being like, no, we can't have you fight the boy. You're going to be weird about it.
Like if both of you fight him, I'm not sure you're gonna be holding back enough to not kill him.
Yeah,
because you're fucking like this.
Yeah. You're gonna like compete with each other to see who can beat up Sasuke worse, and that's not something we need right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sakura have like gone over to Ichiraku Ramen. I'm still like kind of weird about like the extra like date theme they add to this, but I do think it is like kind of cute that like Teiuchi, the Ichiraki ramen guy, is like, he like knows Naruto. Naruto always coming to his shop and he's like, oh my god, you brought a girl here. That's like so great for you, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, like have expected him to be like, is this that Sakura girl you're always talking about? Nice one, bro.
God,
You fucking got her.
like the vibes were just all off. Like he realized like catches on to that pretty quick. It's like Sakura's just kind of like sadly staring at a bowl of ramen. I think I did think it was like kind of interesting. Like I don't know if it's just like a coincidence or like if it is like specifically a thing that this guy likes doing. But like this episode was like storyboarded by Shinji Sato, who like also storyboarded the like episode where Jiraiya and Tsunade have like the conversation over dinner, and like again, like I don't know if it's a coincidence or if like this guy just like has a thing for like awkward conversations over food. I don't think the scene is like quite as like good as that one in terms of like construction, both because like I mean this is just like a like not quite as strong animation team as that episode had, and also like a lot of the conversation is just like cutting away from like the actual like like scene to be like have like Naruto and Sakura like narrating over like flashbacks and stuff. But like they're talking about how like Sasuke has the curse mark and how like Naruto like went off and like met Orochimaru, and this feels like some real primo like Teiuchi hearing some shit that like maybe he shouldn't stuff. But like he's not gonna say anything. He's a professional.
Yeah, he's a professional. He's actually a retired shinobi. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Good, because I just made it up.
God damn it, Gwen! I can believe it. Like I don't know. I haven't looked at the Teiuchi lore in a while.
I mean, he might be.
He could be. Can't believe this. And like, meanwhile, the Sound Four are like, it's pretty clear Sasuke's not going to get much more ground on them, and they decided to like just go in and like just sort of like pushing his buttons, trying to like provoke him into like doing anything they want here. And it's like, yeah, I mean, like, hey, it is like totally your choice, like we're not going to like make you come with us, like it would, it wouldn't be the same if you didn't like want to come and like join Orochimaru and get stronger, but like you don't have to do that. Like if you want to like stay here in this like bullshit baby village and be weak forever, that's cool too. Like I mean, obviously that's your choice, right? Like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Also, about that curse mark you have, it's going to like mega kill you dead if you don't like learn how to use it right.
The thing that's like fun about like one thing that's fun about the scene with the curse mark is like Sasuke like busted out being like, okay, now this is gonna impress the guy, like these guys, and Sakura just like, hey, I got that too, man. Not fucking special.
Yeah, like literally the thing about this whole group of people is that we all have it. So like
yeah, I mean that's cool. I know what it is. Like like I know things about this. So like I mean, you can just like keep doing that, but like it. Like if you just want to like eat away at you and kill you, that's like again that's also your choice. It's totally cool, man.
Yeah, and then of course Teyuya, fucking king shit, is just like, oh well, let us know if you want to be like serious with that revenge shit. Bye.
Right. I mean, the other thing that Teyuya says in this scene is like she talks about how like having the curse mark gives you a lot of power, but like none of us have free will anymore because of it. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm like genuinely curious how true that is. Like how much of that is an actual consequence of that, and how much of it is like Orochimaru who's just kind of been fucking with his kids and like knows how to like knows how to make kids believe shit. I mean, like we see that a lot with the like the like Trio of Sound Ninja from like the Chunin exams, right, where they all have this like very like misplaced loyalty to him.
Yeah,
I genuinely wonder like how much of how much of this is just like this being like a step beyond that with
yeah, I don't know.
There's like also like this is like going back a little bit, but like I think the last thing I have to say about this part of the episode is like when like when Naruto and Sakura are like talking about Sasuke, like I think that Naruto's like basically already like over everything that happened on the roof. He's like, yeah, that was fine. I mean, like Sasuke's kind of mean sometimes. It's cool. Like we're bros. It'll be all right.
Naruto is so nice.
There's almost an extent to which like it feels all like I mean he is nice, but there's also an extent to which it almost feels like he hasn't even really like processed the fact that like he maybe almost killed Sasuke. Or like that hasn't like weighed on him at all. It was just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever. That happened. It's
yeah, Naruto doesn't know that people die in ninja fights yet.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't happened to him for him yet,
except for Haku. But like,
yeah, but that was a special case,
Yeah, it was like a grown up that did that.
Mhm.
Kids-
Your jutsus are all like non-lethal below the age of like 16.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's about what I had to say about this part.
Okay, ready to press on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sasuke packs his shit and takes off in the middle of the night. Sakura waits for him on the road leading outside the village. Sasuke tells her to fuck off, and she begs him not to go, reminding him of all the good times they've had as a team. Sasuke apologizes and knocks her out before meeting up with the Sound Four.
And so the first thing I want to talk about here, which is kind of like me like extrapolating a lot from like not very much, but like in the scenes with like Sasuke's room, like something that really like leaps out to me is like like it feels like a completely different style from like all the buildings we see like when we see like the flashbacks of the stuff in like the Uchiha district and stuff, right? Like it's way more like modern looking.
Yeah,
It's got like a TV in it and shit. Like it genuinely makes me wonder. Like I mean, like I guess it makes sense that like Sasuke would not just be like living in like this fucking like
this like huge murder mansion.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
And like it just kind of makes me think like the possibility of like oh like maybe there's just like a well like I guess that like there basically have to be like here is the like housing for like ninja kids whose parents are dead, right?
but also his place is so much nicer than Naruto's.
His place is so much nicer than Naruto's. Yeah, like they really gave him like a fucking. I mean, Naruto doesn't have a TV for one thing.
Yeah, right, and like you know, like maybe that comes from just like Sasuke inherited his entire clan's wealth, right? So he just like has a nice apartment that he rents.
Hmm.
You know, and like Naruto didn't, but also why wouldn't Naruto have a bunch of like money from his dad, right?
Well, it's a secret.
Yeah, but like you could say like, okay, it's a secret, but also here's this huge bank account, child. Maybe he gets that when he's 18.
If Naruto had a bank account, then it would make it easier for his enemies to find him. For like I'd make it easier for people who are like looking for the nine-tailed blocks to find him because they have such a hard time doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, it's hard to like draw any like inclusive like like information from like exactly what's going on with Sasuke. But like I did think it was interesting because I think it like suggests like at least a few things about like where he's at and like
He's got like his own little balcony,
yeah.
and it looks like he uses it too, which is really funny. I like to imagine Sasuke just like chilling out on the balcony.
Mm-hmm. Like brooding.
Yeah, brooding. Or like he like comes home from a mission all fucking exhausted, and he's just like, what do people do to have like fun and relax? And he just like sits outside awkwardly.
God. Oh my god. So like the majority of this part of the episode is like basically like a big scene between like Sasuke and Sakura. As like Sakura runs Sasuke as he's heading out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So Sakura was like, yeah, I knew you'd like come down this road because this is the way you have to go if you're going to like leave the Leaf Village, which is like I am accepting it for the like I mean like if you're gonna have a scene like you need to have like I guess you need to have that, but also I think it's maybe downplaying the extent to which like jumping on rooftops is the thing that everybody can do and is good at.
Yeah, like you could have done anything. You could have said anything. You could have like come up with like any justification for Sakura to like know which way he'd take out of town, right? Like she could have been like, yeah, I knew you'd take the like I knew you'd take this road because it's like quieter than the other ones. There's no like inns or like restaurants at like on like this side of town, so like nobody would see you, right? No, nobody would be out late drinking and like see you leaving. Like it could be that. It could be like, yeah, I knew that like this location was like special to us, and I knew that you were like secretly feeling something about that. And she could be like right about that, and that could be something. Like it could be like you could have just said anything.
No, but like, I guess Sasuke is like going to be strolling out the front gate. That's just what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, like Sakura is like upset. She's like, I feel like you like never tell me anything. Like I don't know what's going on. Do I like make you hate me or something? Genuinely, the scene feels so much like Sasuke just does not think about Sakura.
Yeah.
Right, like she's like she talks about like the bit from like this was like the second episode, third episode, one of those two, where like she was like talking to Sasuke about like oh Naruto just like sucks really bad because he doesn't have parents to tell him how to be like a good person, and Sasuke gets mad at her, and Sasuke's like, and she's were you mad at me? But because of that, and Sasuke's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't remember that. Like,
literally, I do not remember that.
Yeah, right. Like, there's nothing in this scene that successfully like gestures back towards like any history of like Sasuke feeling like any way towards Sakura. Like towards the end of it, there's like a bit of like he he's like thank you before he knocks her out and like leaves. But like there's nothing to like there's nothing to like latch onto there. Like, there's nothing to like pull out of the history of these characters to be like it's like unclear what like Sasuke is even really like thanking her for, right? Like, because there's not a history of like genuine interaction between them. And she's like, talking about like all of the good times they've had as a team, and like is again like remembering stuff that we haven't seen, because like again there's just no like there's just nothing fucking there, right? Like,
right, like we are 109 episodes into this show, and these two characters are having like a big like emotional thing, and they have not like spent any time just like being next to each other, like really. And like that's not necessarily what the show is about, right? Like obviously that's not what the show's about, because it didn't have any of it, but also like you're trying to get the payoff of this like emotional like relationship between these characters that you just didn't set up.
Yeah, it is like, it's just like pretty frustrating, right? And like, yeah, and like I know there's like some like discussion about how like initially like Kishimoto like planned to like have there be like more of Naruto that was about like Team 7 going on missions together, but like his editors encouraged him to just like go ahead with the Chunin exams.
Like you could do that after.
Yeah, and it's just like, but like it feels like like even if that is true, it has like made like no consideration for the fact that like most generously this scene is like gesturing towards like interactions that like I don't know, maybe Masashi Kishimoto has like thought about but like didn't put in the comic.
Yeah,
but like also I've read Naruto. I don't believe he thought about like scenes involving Sakura that he didn't put in the comic. I don't believe that he thinks about Sakura like while he's like drawing her in the comic most of the time. And like the anime can't really like break out of that, right?
Yeah,
like they certainly like didn't do anything to like try and like make more out of this in like the one like anime original arc they had, right? Like Sakura and Sasuke don't have a ton of interaction there, really.
No. God, can you imagine how good like an anime original arc that is just like about the characters like actually having relationships with each other would be?
It seems like this could really benefit from it.
Yeah, instead of just like a short and not very well put together like regular Naruto arc.
Yeah,
if you could actually like use the fact that you like have different writers to look at characterization that is like suggested at and like wanted in the characters, but is not necessarily like pulled off. If you just like go ahead and like build that up in the stuff that you do, like that would be awesome. That would be like a great way to like utilize the format and like have like an anime original thing, right? Like you can like write the characters in a way that like still falls in line with their like manga characterization, like how they're going to be in like the rest of Naruto and everything, but like contextualizes it and like actually establishes the relationships that are like going to be paid off like not even 10 episodes later, that like just haven't been set up or like shown on screen at all.
Yeah, and like the thing about like the thing about like so much of like Sakura in this scene is that she's just like coming on like really strong, and like I don't know, like it's like she's talking about like how you like I didn't understand what like the loneliness was before I met you, but now I know that like if you left, I would be like so lonely. It would be like I was like I would never be able to stop feeling lonely again, and like it's just there's just not the groundwork to make it feel like anything other than like a really one-sided confession.
Yeah,
that she's like putting this like huge weight on, which like it almost makes me feel like kind of bad for Sasuke, like up to a point where, because like I don't know, like I've fucking been in that situation where like somebody puts like all this like weight on like me potentially reciprocating feelings that I don't have, and that's just kind of what this like reads like to me, right? It's which cannot possibly have been the intent because obviously they wind up marrying each other.
Yeah.
But like it's the vibe I get.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, oh yeah, if you stay with me, I'll make sure you're like, I'll make sure you're like never sad again. I won't let you regret it. Or like maybe I'll come and do your revenge with you. And it's just like, because I don't believe that Sasuke cares about Sakura. It's just like, yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense in this instance that like he like knocks her out and like leaves her there because he doesn't want her to like draw attention to him.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm excusing this one Sasuke misogyny moment. The apple shit was across the line, but like, I mean, if you're already doing this is like,
yeah, right. Like the apple was just like mean. This is like this is ninja stuff. That's different.
Yeah.
This is someone who's gonna like get in the way of your like escape.
Mm-hmm. Like, God, there's a bit I like think is like very fun in here, but like Sakura is like trying to do like a much like less grounded version of like the revenge doesn't do anything for anybody speech, where like Sasuke like having just gotten this like same speech from Kakashi but like more like well worded has decided that his new thing is that he is just built different from everybody else and actually revenge is good for him and it'll be like he this is just what he has to do.
God.
Like, yeah, sorry, I'm not one of those normal people that can be satisfied without killing somebody. I guess I'm just a freak, and everybody else is like I'm just built different. I have to leave, which is like, okay, I love all of the stuff in these episodes that is just like Sasuke like basically contorting himself into like just like reconstructing his like understanding of things to like continue justifying the thing he's already going to do like every time anybody talks to him.
Yeah.
Because he's like fucking 12 and he's sad and angry. That's what it's like sometimes.
Yeah. That is what it's like sometimes. Is that the podcast?
I think that's the podcast if you don't have anything else to say.
No, I think I'm good. What are we watching next week?
So next week we are watching episodes 110, 111, and 112 of Naruto.
Nice. And if you don't want to wait, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. You get access to episodes up to a week early for just $3 a month. And for $5, you get access to our bonus show, Narukai Uzumaki. We just talked about Danmachi, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? That episode should be up by the time this is out, so like you can go check that out right away. Or if you want to get like excited for the next one, we currently have a poll up. It will probably be done by the time this is out, but it looks like we're going to be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime. That is a pretty decisive early lead. So unless everyone else bands together to choose something else, it's looking like it might be that one. No promises though. We'll make a post about that when it's just decided on the Twitter, which you can find at twitter.com/Konoha Crush, all one word, Konoha Crush. There you can also find all of the images we talk about during the podcast. Also, I want to offer a very special thank you to our Joining tier patrons, Maple and Izzy, featured Jinchuriki of the Six-Tailed Beast. Also, one last plug, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/GuinevereTeef, GuinevereTeef. So if you want to, catch more of us, Ruby's on there all the time. On Fridays we play Elden Ring together, the seamless co-op mod. And just it's a good time all around. The one last thing I want to say is just like if you enjoy the podcast, talk to your friends about it. Like tell people, because like the only way that we're gonna get out there is by word of mouth, right? Because like we're not gonna advertise anything. We're not like that's fucking stupid. Who would listen to an ad about a fucking gay ass Naruto podcast and go and listen to it? But yeah, I mean I think that about does it. Do you have anything you want to mention or shout out?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, and remember, there's no such thing as filler.